Maite Nkoana-Mashabane, the Minister of Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities, is alarmed by the number of calls received from women who are trapped in lockdown with their abusive partners. This is just 1 week into the lockdown period. The Minister joins us now on the line. Afternoon, Minister. It's good to have you with us. It's now day 9 since our nation went into lockdown, and we're already talking of 87,000 calls received by the South African Police Service. Is this evidence of a result of a lockdown or evidence of a much broader underlying problem of abuse in our society?
Well, let me say good afternoon to all the listeners and to your good self, and say that as a nation we are indeed appalled and ashamed of the happenings in our country. But at the moment we're supposed to be focusing on the COVID-19, working together to defeat this scourge. But this scourge found us already dealing with another scourge which was unprecedented, that of gender-based violence and femicide. This, that which has happened with gender-based violence and femicide and all other abuses against women happened much more greater in the past because there was less reporting. It heightened up with people gaining confidence that if they report on an incident like that, something will be done. As from our department, we continue to advocate, we continue to make sure that we work with the justice cluster system to make sure that those who are perpetrators pay the ultimate price that they have to pay.
Right, indeed. And I want to come in there, Minister. I want to just ask, how do you ensure that they do pay? Do we have within our capacity measures in place that can be implemented broadly to ensure that victims get support, that they are protected, they get the treatment that they require, plus the perpetrators are brought to book?
We are trying our best. As Minister Gale said, we have toll-free numbers, the ones you know, and the latest one, 0800 150 150, and the usual 10-111, you know. But we also have provincial joints working together with those who are working on COVID-19, that women should not just report, but as they go to report, or when they phone in to report, they take the details of the person who is receiving their complaint so that we are able to follow up and be able to bring perpetrators to book. Yeah. As for our President, Excellency Ramaphosa said, if we come across such people, perpetrators as such, we must make sure that they face the law, but they also do not get even an opportunity for a parole as and when they appear, in front of the law agencies. So
far beyond the hotline number, the Violence Command Center number, the big question is, Minister, how are you then responding to a question that many in lobby groups have been raising, that the ministry, the police are expecting victims to coexist in one household for the next couple of days, 11 days to be exact, or maybe 12 at this point, with their abuser? Are there other means of intervening at that level to be able to assist and give them an alternative?
The answer is yes. Through the Ministry of Social Development and Minister Delil, we have found safe houses where women who really feel in distress could be accommodated. But you and I would recall that even if we do not have a lockdown, during the heightened season of where people find themselves in one area or in one solid lockdown, solid festive season, or during Good Fridays and so on and so on, where people find themselves in a concentrated area for a long time, we tend to find a heightened incidences of this kind. But this time around, anticipating this, we also then had to come up with a large number of safe houses so that those who feel they do not want to be in that same space can then be accommodated in different places so that they can be taken care of.
Now, is there regulation in real terms on the ground? I know the Minister of Justice and Correctional Services has just amended the regulations which were announced just moments ago, that certain cases on the roll which are not urgent will not be prioritized during this time of lockdown. But is there a commitment on the part of justice to prioritize cases of gender-based violence during this lockdown period?
The answer is yes. The cases of related to gender-based violence, we take them as very, very, very serious, and then that they would receive the agency they require. Because women all over the country have been saying enough is enough, and they cannot have a postponement of this. And we cannot agree with them more.
What is going to happen, Minister, to the abuser who disobeys a protection order?
There's a review of the actual protection order itself, whether it still serves its own purpose. So the Ministry of Justice is busy with that, so that we make sure that the mechanisms, the laws, the bills that we came up with before, which no longer serve the purpose, or that which need attention, needs to be reasoned, do get the kind of attention that we need, so that we are able to reach out to our women, to the youth, and our people with disabilities on time, so that they don't just, feel safe, that they are safe in a democratic South Africa.
Now, before this lockdown, Minister, of course, there was an extensive process that was undertaken that eventually resulted in the Gender-Based Violence National Strategy Plan, and a lot of resources were actually channeled towards that particular activity. Is that money that was allocated still available to continue with the work that it needs to be done, or have those funds been diverted elsewhere, particularly with the COVID-19 pandemic now at the level where it's at?
Well, there's not a single penny. First, we didn't really have enough money. So the President had to appeal that those departments who had some surplus could come up with something, and we came up with 1.6 billion. Absolutely no penny of that money was taken away from those departments to deal with the new challenge or scourge that we came across with. We will be launching very soon a formal or a permanent steering committee that will permanently look at all those challenges that are gender-based related, which we have identified. So this is not really a matter that we can really do a hide and seek on, because women, as I said to you, have said enough. It's enough.
Minister, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us. That is the Minister in the Presidency for Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities, alarmed at the rate of calls received by the South African Police Service, and assuring us indeed that they have enough in place to make sure that those strategies in the national plan are being implemented.